Hello, I'm MC Toon, and it's Toonsday night. And that means we've got a debate. Tonight, Danny, I don't know where he is. I talked to him yesterday. He was all ready. He's not read my messages for a while. So, he may be late. He may be unsure. His last message, I sent him the link to the video. The link to the video is what I usually use to tell people what time the show starts because it has everything correct for their time zone. But he still was wondering what time. He's like, is it 6 a.m. Melbourne time? I'm like, no, it's, here's the link again. Anyway, so I'm hoping that he does show and that he's just late. But otherwise, I do have some things in store. He could be out Christmas shopping. I think it is, and anybody in Melbourne can confirm, I think it is 1 p.m. In Melbourne right now. So anyway, Danny's a very nice guy. I was really looking forward to this because the conversation I had with him was very entertaining, very educational for me. He is a former Mormon. Like 50 years he was a Mormon, and he's no longer. And he told me a bunch of stuff about LES, and I'm sure they wouldn't like it. Anyway, there we go. We've got confirmation from Devil's Thadvocate that it's 1 p.m. and as well as Andrea Huddle. So, I like Danny so much. I'm like, Danny, you could come on the SC Toon show and debate against a current Mormon. He's like, I don't think they will, but I would be up for it. So if anybody is a current Mormon and would like to debate a former Mormon, I'm your guy. So the music, the intro and outro music is the same band. A couple people asked in the comments, what's that band? I told nothing. I said nothing. The band is they have some albums. How about that? You may have heard me say it. Anyway, they have several albums. It is a metal band. Anybody tell you what, the first person to figure out who it is, send a message in the chat here. That is a very, very expert type of thing to do. So I will send you a very, very expert shirt. If you, so tag my name with who you think it is. Apparently it does not come up on Spotify or, like Alexa doesn't get it, or not Alexa. No, shh, quiet, Alexa. Not Pandora. What's the Shazam? Shazam doesn't get it. So it is not me. I do not play. I am very poor at. It is not Dragon Force. So there it is. If you really want, you could listen to the outro from last week. It's the same band. You'll have 2 chances. So there it is. If people are guessing, nobody has it yet. I think what I should do is I should tell somebody so that, oh, Angel Gamer, you cheater. I should have said Angel Gamer's excluded. The band is Theocracy. There it is. They have 4 albums. Their Christmas stuff are not on their albums. That's why that's why they don't show up on Shazam, or why Siri can't get it. So there it is. All right, Angel Gamer. I gotcha. Yeah, I'm sorry, Matt Klein. It's not ABBA. I do like some ABBA though. So I have I prepped stuff for today. So the guy I'm debating is in Melbourne. And Vadim, I'm pretty sure I did not name them last week. Did I? I didn't remember. I don't remember that. Anyway, so the guy I'm debating, was supposed to debate, he's in Melbourne, Australia. How can a flat earther live in Australia? I don't know. It doesn't make sense. Anyone south of the equator, it just absolutely doesn't make sense because they cannot see Polaris. You must see Polaris if the Earth is flat with some sort of a stupid dome or whatever they think it is. None of it works. So what I did, am I pronouncing it wrong? It's Melbourne. I don't know. I could pronounce the E at the end, Melbourne. So I'm sorry if I'm getting the pronunciation wrong. So here, I'll show you quickly what I prepared. After I mentioned Tony Nayum, also an Australian flat earther. Now, Tony is the opposite from Danny in the neighborhood of being nice. But in August, if you watched the video that I put out yesterday, Tony in August said that he would definitely go measure the angle of the sunrise or sunset in Sydney where he lives. And he guaranteed that the angle absolutely could not in any way rise south of due east and set south of due west. Could not. He's absolutely certain. Even though all of the online calculators like timeanddate.com, suncalc.org, suncalc.net, all of them say that it will, and all of documented history as well. So, oh, hey, don't time out 33. He's got 2 weeks. 2 weeks from tonight is his big return. So let's keep him his comments in unless he just spams. Okay. So, Tony, I'm pretty sure did not do any measurements, did not do any observations, but I asked a few people. I have a few that I had collected over time, and so I will show them to you now. This is on my website. You'll have to search for it. It is mc2.net/December-solstice-southern-hemisphere. So super easy to remember. If you just go here and type in solstice like this, you will find it right there. December solstice from southern. Right there it is. So the globe predicts that the horizontal angle of the sunrise and sunset will be south of due east. And I did this myself. I did an experiment myself. PJCnet, there it is. Ooh, we got Digital Demonic Davros took pics from 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. in Adelaide. Awesome. Send them. I will add them to this page and give you credit. So here is the globe. And there I put this little blob of, it's actually silly putty. Not silly putty, Play-Doh. Right there on not Melbourne. Melbourne's down south there on Sydney. And I pointed that little toothpicky thing. It's actually a twist tie that I straightened out towards the sun, directly towards the sun. And then, yeah, you can see that zoomed in there. My globe is, it's an old educational globe. And there it is. I measured the angle to due east, 27.5 degrees to due east. So add another 90 on that to get the azimuth angle. So that's the prediction of the sunrise on the globe from Sydney. And here's the prediction for the AE map. Now, sometimes flat earthers will say, well, that's not our map. Well, then send the map. They never send the map. If you don't have a map, you didn't even enter the race. So, I don't know. Oh, James Horton. James Horton, whoever this guy is, James Horton, suggests that I worship somebody that I don't worship. Religiflers. They have tied together their religion and their flat earthism into one religion. So anybody that doesn't agree with their religion, which is flat earth, is automatically a Satanist, according to them. Automatically. That's in their weird warped cult religion. That's how it is. So If you listen to the video by Tony Nayum from yesterday, he said that he met an atheist who believed in the globe. Well, to him, because flat earth is his religion, everybody that is not a flat earther is then by definition an atheist. So we've got this guy in the chat here by the name of James Horton that has suggested that I am one, not just an atheist, but that I worship Satan, that I'm a Satanist, which is absolutely untrue. He knows nothing about me. It's a very strange thing to tie these two things together, because if I want to know how tall something is, let's say I wanted to measure how tall this can of tab is, I would just get out a ruler, right? And I would just measure it. I'd say, oh, look at that. It's 12.5 centimeters tall. And its diameter is 6.5 to 7. And then from that, without putting the ruler to the center of the can, to the outside of the can, I can know the circumference, the radius, an approximation of the volume minus these things, right? I'll just measure it. I don't need religion to tell me the size of this can. That's it. It's not how it works. So we've got no pants. You gave yourself. No, I did not. No pants. That's strange. Very strange. So anyway, we've got some trolls in here. Very nice. I welcome the trolls. We've got this Trent O says falling into the atheist cult is a symptom of globe-earism. 2 E's in a row. Again, that's another religifleur type thing. So Stellarium Celestia says Seitan. Satan does taste pretty terrible, I guess. Anyway, yeah, so apparently this guy is insulting and accusing me all the time. Maybe he is, and I know some people. Oh, was it on Friday? Was he in the SE Toon show, or was it last week? I don't know. I do remember him in there trying to say stuff like that. So here's to you, James. Is it James Horton? Send me an email right now. I'll send you a Zoom link, and you can prove your flat earth. Just send me an email right now, mctoon@mctoon.net, or you can look, it's in the description of all my videos. Otherwise, you can shut up. So to you, James Horton, sack up or shut up. There we go. Okay, back to the topic here. Here is the predicted sunrise and sunset angles. Now, how did I get that? Well, of course, I took the flat earth map, the only map that really flat earthers have. There's some others. They're ridiculously wrong. So this is the closest and the most common one. So there is, I actually didn't, that's very close to Sydney. It's not actually Sydney. It doesn't matter. It's pretty similar. It's 30 degrees south, 150 degrees east. And I placed the sun. So the sun does a circle around the Tropic of Capricorn on the day that is today, the December solstice. Yes, today is the December solstice, and it's above the horizon. It's visible for about 14 hours, I think, on that day, in that area of the world. So I approximated it's a sunrise and sunset location. Actually, I didn't approximate it. I used like the proportion of the circle that was around here, that of the Tropic of Capricorn, and placed it there. Then I just measured it. It's 53 degrees north of due east and 53 degrees north of due west. I simplified them. I didn't give hard bearing angles or azimuth angles. Flat earthers don't get that. So that's the prediction. The globe prediction is south of due east. Tony Naum and all other Southern Hemisphere flat earthers, what angle did the sun rise today? Especially if you're south of the Tropic of Capricorn. What angle? It did not rise north of Dewey. So here is suncalc.net right there from Sydney. That on the right, angling down, that's the sunrise. You got suncalc.org, same thing. You've got dateandtime.com saying that it will be 119 degrees. That's an azimuth reading. So again, south of due east. And what do we observe? Flat earthers, what do we observe? Well, this is from Australia's Piper on Twitter. Thank you very much for that. We observe that it's southwest. It rises southwest. This is not on the solstice. This was in this was the December solstice sunset. This was the sunset north of Melbourne. You've got Simon Glenn Jr. sent this one. This is sun rise in November this year. Again, south of due east. It's not just the day of the equinox, but I would love our solstice. I'd love it to get a few. I got some in email. I haven't read those emails yet. Haven't had a chance. And this one, such sweet. Oh, I hit that L a little bit. Caps there. Do you see that? Hey, OCD people. OCD people. Come on, look at that. OCD, come on. Right there. Does that bug you, OCD people? It doesn't bother me, but I see it. So this is from Flat Earther, Flat Horizon 1, who did the same thing. Oh, good job. Good job, Flat Earther. It's such sweet irony when they find the globe proof. Miss Christmas says it bugs the heck out of them. Beast Militia can't leave their house because of that capital L. And then this one, I love this one. This is from Del Boy. Somebody sent me this. This is from 4 years ago. He recorded several videos. This is where it was. And looking down the street. This is in Perth. The street is a straight east-west street. So I'll let that play while I check my email to see if James sent me he did not. James, come on. Sack up or shut up, James. Sack up or shut up. He gets the James gets the Vicky treatment. 33 gets a pass today. Let's see. 33 says, I'll just let this video play while I see what 33 says. Entertain us tonight. Can you explain Jim Carrey coming on the Jay Leno Tonight Show and making fun of the moon landing, calling it a fish story? Nope. Can't. Don't care. It's not evidence. How's that? You see, if you want to prove that the earth is flat, 33, go get evidence for it. An actor doing what actors do, acting, is not evidence. So there you go. Yep. Please play the clip for the chat and explain it for us. No, I will not be playing that clip for you, 33. It is not evidence. True or not, doesn't matter. It is not evidence. So, all right, I'm going to speed this up. All of these are on my website. Just pop in there and have a look at it and go to this guy's YouTube channel. Tell him how much you appreciate it. Yeah, that's how lame 33 is. So I'm looking forward in 2 weeks to a hilariously stupid bunch of claims that have nothing to do with determining the shape of the earth. So there it is. March 3rd, still south of due west. This is the sunset. Still. So, flat earthers, explain it. Explain this on a map, any map. Just find a map that works. All you need to do is propose a map, test it, see if it works for some observations, add in more observations. And if it doesn't work, then just admit that that particular map is wrong, and then try a bunch of other maps. I did that. I did that last Friday on the SE Toon Show debating Raichi. I developed a flat earth map. And it's ridiculous, but it's an absolute necessity map. It can't, there's no other way to explain it. There's no other more reasonable way to explain it, I think. So so I've got something. Well, let me check to see if James has sacked up yet. Oh, nope. He's not yet sacked up. I'm not avoiding it. 33. It is not evidence. That's it. It's not evidence. If you want evidence that the earth is flat, get some measurements of it. Not somebody who's a comedian talking on an entertainment show. Yes, crazy, wacky, bendy light is another explanation for how it might work on any particular map. But it's ad hoc, and there's no supporting evidence for that either. So, where can I sign up for undulating Earth? So, I've got a blast from the past for you. A blast from the past. You're gonna absolutely, I'm sarcasm here. You're gonna love it. You are going to love it. So yeah, oh yeah, Will Clark, thank you for that. Tony Nayum apparently works for if you just Google his name, you'll find out he's a lawyer for the British American Tobacco Company. That's right. Not only is he flat earther, not only is he pretty awful, he also works for a company that sells tobacco and poisons people. So there you go. Is this about Flat Earth Hero? Flat Out Hero? No. That's a different blast from the past. He was supposed to debate FDFE tonight. Did not answer. Don't know. So, yeah, 33. If you want to ask about this particular, if you want to bring up evidence, 2 weeks from tonight is the time for that. We've set it up already. And this Jim Carrey thing, that's not evidence. I will just mock you. That's all it deserves is mockery. That's it. Bring evidence or I'll mock you, because that's all you earn. So, all right. We have here the blast from the past. First person, name him. Name him. What's his name in the chat? What is his name? I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it. There's not a long delay. Come on. Where are they? Where? There it is. Stringer News 1. Got it. That guy. There it is. That guy. Oh. He's 33. This is not evidence. I just want to hear you explain it. I don't care. What's it like to want? Get used to it. You are used to it. All right. This is that guy. I have a folder of stuff for when people don't show. And I delve into it, 15 minutes ago or 15 minutes before this came on and Danny isn't answering. I'm like, well, time to delve. Wait, Beast Militia says, got it first. Oh, a lot of people got it right away. See, I tell you what, you could be. I will put this into my Discord in the general right there, and people can look to see what I see on my screen. But Beast Militia, I'll say it's a tie at least. How about that? QED, you're correct. That is his name. Wait, where'd it go? There it is. All right, we're going to listen. Let's see if the audio comes through. Yes. And Chris Hoffman, I have that one queued up too.
What's up, YouTube? Guy again. Just taking a quick run to the store. Figured I'd go over a quick little experiment that I learned about the other day.
He didn't do. Nobody did it.
That absolutely destroys gravity. Thanks to Dave Murphy from England. Flat Earther Dave Murphy brought this to my attention when he was debating that particle physicist a couple weeks ago, and he absolutely destroyed that particle physicist in a debate.
Did not happen.
It wasn't even close. So here's the experiment. Go to Walmart, get you one of those tanks of helium that fills up birthday balloons. We've all seen them. They've sold them for a couple years now. If you don't understand what I'm talking about, go to Walmart and look for it. It's a tank full of helium. Compressed helium. So go get you a tank of helium. Weigh it when you get home. Shake it. You'll feel there's a liquid inside.
No, there's not. There's no liquid inside. It's not compressed enough for there to be a liquid inside. A propane tank, yes. A helium tank that they sell at Walmart, no. There is no liquid inside. It's not compressed down to somewhere around 1 Kelvin, which of course, that guy wouldn't even understand.
Weigh it. See what...
Oh, yes, Cretan Bull. Hold on. We've got an interruption here. There we go. What do you think? What do you think, Kitty? Yeah? I had a telemarketer call today, calling Ernest Borgnine, my fake persona, about my credit card debt that I don't have. And so I had Kitty answer. What do you think? What do you think, Kitty? Meow. Meow. Yeah, brought Kitty over to my kid's house tonight, who has 2 cats. Turtle was unpleased. What do you think? Yeah, you didn't like it, did you? Nope, not at all. There you go. Thank you. All right, shut the door. There it is. Okay. Where was I? I don't know. I think I was just I'll just play him. I don't know.
What it weighs. There's compressed helium. Compressed helium is just helium that is more dense. They've compressed it to a higher density level.
Good job.
It becomes a liquid when it's compressed to a certain point.
That's right. Dave Murphy. Yes, Dave Murphy. Dave Murphy is the guy that drinks his own whiz. So I didn't know. I told my kid to shut the door, not Turtle. The reason why is the door is white. Everything else in the room here is a medium gray. You can see the wall back here, right? That's the color of the whole room. The door is white. I have a light shining at the door. So this light that's bouncing off the door. There you go. So yes, Dave Murphy is yeah, he drinks. I have a video on him. He went into his fridge. He was interviewed. Dave Murphy was interviewed. Went to his fridge, pulled out jars of old urine, pulled one out that was dark, very dark. Looked like darker beer than any Irish person would drink. And he's like, oh, this is a year old. A year old urine. He's like, I'm scared to drink it. I'm like, well, of course you should be scared to drink it. You should be scared to drink it when it's fresh. It's urine. Ugh. It's not old, it's vintage. Saves hard lemonade. Yeah. Okay. 33, I'm not dodging you. You have your time in 2 weeks. Save it. And actually have evidence. All right. So here we go. Let's get to this. He just said if you compress it, it turns to liquid. He's right. But helium in a tank you buy at Walmart is not liquid.
A liquid when it's compressed to a certain point. A lot of gases do this, like propane or hydrogen.
Yeah, I'm sure he has liquid hydrogen at home.
Helium, they turn into a liquid when they're compressed. All you're doing is increasing the density of the gas. So, when it's in the tank, it weighs 10 pounds. You set it on a scale. Maybe with the metal tank, it weighs 15 pounds. Set it on the scale. Now take that same exact helium that's in the tank and put it in a gigantic balloon, or many small balloons. Once you've emptied the tank, weigh the tank again. It should weigh 10 pounds less, or however much helium was in the tank. So weigh it first, empty it, weigh it again. It should weigh around 10 pounds less.
Obviously, it's not an actual experiment that he did. He's just making up numbers, which is fine. But he's like saying it as if it's actual numbers. It's a little weird.
So now, this proves you've taken 10 pounds of helium out of that tank and moved it to the balloon. All that you've done is made that balloon, or made that helium have room to expand and become less dense. It was compressed in the tank. You empty the tank into a balloon. That exact same 10 pounds of helium will now float away from you when you let go of the balloon.
Yes.
The exact same 10 pounds.
Yes.
Gravity cannot explain this in the least bit.
Gravity perfectly explains that. Your understanding of it is the fault, not gravity. So the tank weighs less because you removed mass from it. F equals ma. Force equals mass times acceleration. There's a downward force. Whatever that force is, there's a downward force. So when you have weight, that's a force. Mass is not a force. You take a mass, you apply a force, you apply acceleration, you get weight, right? That's F equals ma. That's the relationship. When you put them in a balloon, when you put them in a balloon, it's a whole different thing. You still put mass into the balloon, but the mass that you put in the balloon versus the mass of the air that the balloon displaces is less. So then it's just a competition between the mass of the balloon and the mass of the air. Which one has more downward force? The one with more mass, the air. So the air says, I get to be under here. You have to be above me. That's how it works. That's how gravity explains it. You just don't understand. Which is fine until you start using your misunderstanding to try to prove things that are wrong.
Sorry, I'm backing up to the job, but
thanks for letting me know you're backing up. He's just going to the grocery store, actually.
We cannot even begin to explain this phenomenon, and that's what science is. The study of a natural phenomenon. Observe a natural phenomenon, which is dropping the tank of helium or setting it on the scale. You drop it, it falls. You move that helium to a balloon, you drop the balloon, and it rises. The exact same 10 pounds of helium, just put in a different container, and it will float. This absolutely destroys gravity all on its own. If you...
Yep. It definitely destroys his understanding of gravity. So I put this on Facebook a lot. Not understanding the globe, it won't disprove it. You can't disprove something by not understanding it. You first have to understand it. Step one. And no flat earthers understand the globe. None. Exactly zero. Any flat earthers think that you understand it? You don't. 100% certain you don't. Still no email from James Horton, but I do have some super chats. I'll get to them. So debate night, did Danny Seppings back out? Danny Seppings has not answered me. He's in Australia. He thought, so last night, before he went to bed last night, so it's Wednesday for him now, he said he thought that I'm going to be talking to him at 6 a.m. Melbourne time, but it's supposed to start at 1 p.m. So he was 7 hours early. I don't know why. I corrected him with that information. He hasn't read it yet. So, don't know. Digital Demonic Davros says, I took pics from 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. in Adelaide solstice. Love it. All right. That page, the solstice page, is going to have lots of pictures on it. This is going to be exciting. Nobody can deny it. Digital Demonic Davros again says 3 dioptra images sent via Discord DM. Thank you very much. Triple D. Sigurd. Ooh, my goodness. This is a Norwegian sounding name. And since it's Norwegian kroners, there's a good correlation there. Sigurd Mjelv. Is that a Y sound instead of a J sound? Where he says, if you had unlimited budget, what would you think would be the cheapest way to make Tony reconsider his views, short of sending him out in space? Unlimited money and you don't get to send him in space. I probably would say that send him up in the high flying jet, but that probably also it would be not allowed by that standard, I'm going to guess. So what I don't know. I mean, you can explain things to a flurf, but you can't understand it for him. I don't know. To like that I am stumped at that question, Sigurd. With unlimited budget, how could you make a flat earther reconsider their views? You see, it's a religion for them. They did not get to being a flat earther through logical processes. They got there by being fooled, first of all, by other flat earthers that are good at conning people. And then it turned into a religion. I see this a lot. Eric Dubé's 200 videos, right? That's still, from what I can tell, the most common. They watch that and then they find out later that the things in there don't work. And the religion flares find out that Eric Dubé isn't compatible with their religion in the least. But the video still swayed them and they let that swaying stay. Then additionally, they find out that the things in the video aren't not correct. Not at all. Like, he claims that the horizon never or always rises to eye level, but that it never happens. I'm amazed I still get flat earthers come on here to say that it rises to eye level. Because it's so easy. It's such an easy one to do. You get on an airplane, you bring your theodolite app on the phone, you measure the horizon, it dips. Duh. That's it. It's it. You've got it. Other things like lighthouse distances, being able to see them. You do the math, it actually works fine. But they use the wrong math because the second part of being a flat earther, right? They get conned by somebody. The second part, it's another, is they cannot do math. There's no flat earther that can do math. They can't do 8th grade math. They can't solve a triangle. They see the claim of 8 inches per mile squared, and they're like, that's the right formula. They teach it in schools. No, they don't. Nobody teaches that as the curvature formula in schools. They're like, but that's the globe math. No, it's not. But because somebody did it for them and there's a chart, that's all they have. They can't possibly put numbers into a formula and solve for it. So, we've got another kitty here. Here we go. This one's not so noisy. What do you think? What do you think, raccoon? Her fur is super soft. She's 2 now, and this is her fur. What? She gets a little grumpy when Turtle's around. She's still a little testy, so she's like the grumpy cat. She's only 2. So, all right.
Just put her down.
Oh, all right. There you go. She's gonna be in here. And again, I forgot where I was. Oh my gosh. 33. I'm just gonna ban you if you can't actually have a conversation. You're not having a conversation with me, 33. I'm not talking to you right now. That's 2 weeks from tonight. You can have a conversation with the other people in the chat. Got it? So 33, again, if you're just, if that's all you're here is to try to troll me, then I will tell people just ban you. So one more chance, 33, not all caps, talk to the other people, or back to whack-a-troll. There it is. Okay, it was about math. They can't plug numbers into a formula. It's the wrong formula. It predicts, it doesn't predict the amount of hidden. They actually use it for multiple things, like that's the curvature formula. No, it's not. That's the amount hidden prediction, which is a different thing than the curvature formula, which it's not. They say it's the amount of drop from your position to, sort of, yes, from a horizontal, but they don't even get that right. So they use the same wrong equation for multiple wrong things, and it's never right. Debate night. They said the package should be there on Thursday. The package. I don't know what you're talking about. Did you send me a package? Did Effed Up World make a claim? What conspiracy to hide the shape of the earth? There is no conspiracy. Yeah, Effed Up World. Effed Up World, can you solve a triangle? I don't think you can. So, anyway, so they can't understand math. They refuse to do research. You hear flat earthers on YouTube always say, do your own research. But they never do. To them, what they interpret that as is watch more flat earth videos. So, oh, it's my NASA shield block. That's the package. Shh, I'm not supposed to talk about it. Okay. These are not the droids you're looking for. Fixed that. Anyway, all right. So Sigurd, what was the cheapest way to make Tony reconsider his views other than sending them to high elevation? I will ponder that. I don't know. That's a super good question. KL for 10 Australians says Austin Whitsitt is pushing some kind of, and I'm not even going to say the word. It's a carbon-based structure that goes into the thing to make you not get sick from the virus. It does not actually go in it. It's not in it at all. But he's trying to push that on his channel. Looks like this carbon thing is a new misinformation con circulating amongst the science deniers. It, in fact, is. It's not that new. I had 3 Ron on here, who's not a flat earther. He's often in the chat. Nice guy. He and I debated about this particular thing. That video got flagged. So that's why I'm not saying it. It's not in the thing that you get to prevent getting sick. It's not in there. It's an absolute farce. And so anybody claiming that is spreading misinformation and should be dealt with appropriately. Different platforms have different stances on what they think people should do if people are spreading misinformation. Go to that platform, see what that platform wants to be done about it, and take action should they want you to take action. Oh, debate night. Debate night, you're Sean. I didn't know you were Sean. Sean Hawkins. Awesome. Sean on Thursday. Okay, thank you. He said he sent me something that goes on my phone. And I'm guessing it's lasers. That's it. It's just lasers. He said it's not, but I'm sticking with lasers. Anyway, so yes, thank you, KL. That is absolutely it. I have that video downloaded. I auto download his stuff from Austin. And yeah, it's Makes me upset. If you're going to be against something, be against it by doing it the right way, by understanding what it actually is and look at the science about it. There's probably a proper debate to be had on that topic. But it's not by claiming that things are in it that aren't in it. It's just stupid. It's the same thing. You can't debunk the globe by not understanding the globe. You can't show that that thing that's to prevent you from getting sick will harm you by not being correct about what's in it, Austin. So, Tim Tully says, that guy ain't got the wisdom that the good Lord gave to a back molar. No, that guy is so dumb. So dumb. Oh, he's so angry too. I love how mad he gets. Truth nerds, and this is you're right. It shows even more depth, and it's sort of a liquid, right? I'll read this though. He's about how that guy claims that the helium tanks have liquid in it. Says he's actually wrong about that too. Compressed helium-4 above about 5.2 Kelvin does not become a liquid. It becomes a supercritical fluid under sufficient pressure. So, is a supercritical fluid a liquid? I don't know. But it's pretty certain that the tank, the 15-pound tank that you got at Walmart is not compressed and chilled to 5.2 Kelvin. You might need a doer for that. Sigurd again says, for 55 Nokia, says, you know someone knows exactly what they're talking about when they're saying it in their car. I mean, they own a freaking car. How can they be wrong? Exactly. Oh, flirfs in their cars. And he's in Florida. In Minnesota, they passed a law a couple years ago that you're not allowed to record video in your car while you're driving. So clearly the state of Minnesota was targeting flirfs. Do not flirf and drive. Let's see. Beam bats. When someone says they completely believe science and NASA, which I've never said, but forget that the sugar and tobacco industry paid off scientists to lie. Yes, science, go on. Well, beam bats, if you think, I take it that you think the earth is flat. I happen to have an opening right here, right now. Shut up or put up. mctoon@mctoon.net. Send me the email right now. You'll get a Zoom link right back. Right? Then you can come on and you can show all of your super woke evidence or proofs. Yes. So, and final one here. Teamster for Life says Rachy 50s mentioned a funny thing happened on the way to the moon. That video was the biggest scam I ever saw. Indeed, it was. It was a train wreck of pseudoscience and science denialism and scamming and all sorts of things, trickery and lies, all bundled together into one video that uncritically thinking people accept uncritically. So, okay, I have more. Brace yourselves. Get those face mitts ready. Where'd it go? I need to grab. Oh, there it is. It was covered up. It was so nice that it was covered up, but now it's not covered up. So you want it. You demanded it. Space weight. That's right. This is space weight.
YouTube, that guy coming at you again with another video. This time we're going to talk about density, volume, weight, mass, and gravity. They're all...
Hold on. Density, I got to back that up. Remember that. I want to see it typed out, please.
Density, volume, weight, mass, and gravity. They're all...
Density, volume,
Coming at you again with another video. This time we're going to talk about density, volume, weight, mass, and gravity.
Weight, mass, and gravity. Density, volume, weight, mass, gravity. What does he have to say about that?
They're all pretty much the same thing.
They're all pretty much the same thing, he says. Wow, density, volume, weight, mass, and gravity are all pretty much the same thing. No, they're not. Density, let's just clear that up. Density is a property of matter. It's the quantity of mass in a space, a volume. Volume is a certain amount of space, of area in the 3 dimensions. Weight is a force. Mass is a property of matter. Gravity is a force. So yeah. Gravity, though, typically we treat it as an acceleration instead of a force in when we're doing calculations on it. So let's call it, for this purpose, an acceleration. So you've got a property of matter, a 3-dimensional area, an area in 3 dimensions, a force, a quantity of stuff in matter, and an acceleration, which are all, in his mind, the same.
Gravity is nothing more than the weight of an object. Gravity doesn't need to be replaced with something else. It is not a measurable force, never has been, never will be.
Of course, that's wrong. And I will show you this. This is an experiment, a paper. It's a paper called Reflections on a Measurement of the Gravitational Constant Using a Beam Balance and 13 Tons of Mercury. This is a measurement of the gravitational constant, not using a Cavendish-style torsion bar. I love this one. It's very different. Here's the diagram, and these gray, these middle gray colored things here, maybe they're pink, I can't tell because I'm colorblind. These middle gray colored things, that's where the mercury is. 30 or 13 tons of mercury. So these 4 vessels have mercury in it, and then you can see these upper test mass, lower test mass. These test masses are connected to a balance scale up at the top there by a wire. There's a wire that holds it up. So this test mass stays there, and then there's another one at the bottom, connected by wires to a very sensitive balance, beam balance, not a beam balance, a balance, which measures the acceleration. 2 of them, 2 weights, 2 test masses. So they put the mercury in the middle there. And so when the mercury's in the middle on this left side here, the upper test mass has an increased weight, and the lower test mass has a decreased weight. And then they move the mercury, they pump it to the top and to the bottom. And when they do that, it changes the weight of these test masses. The top one weighs less, the bottom one weighs more. And this graph on the side, I don't quite know the context of that, have to read it. I love this experiment or measurement of the gravitational constant because it's different. There's not a lot of different ways to measure the gravitational constant, but this one can. So this is these these test masses are stainless steel, and the field mass, as they call it, is mercury. Different materials. Okay, and I forgot that the top here. It's not like a piezoelectric scale. It's actually, I think it's actually a balance, and they actually use different very small pieces of metal that they put on that are calibrated to get the actual difference in mass, I think. Read. It's on my website, mc2.net/G. So just a super cool way to do it. So if anybody's like, they don't like Cavendish for some reason, this is a fantastic different way of looking at it. So, and I previewed a little bit for that guy.
The Cavendish experiment was lead balls attracting lead balls.
True. The first one was.
That's not science. That just means lead can attract lead. And if you're inside of a building or inside a Faraday cage with frequency in the atmosphere, because we know we have frequency in the atmosphere, if you don't understand
Frequency in the atmosphere. And here he's going to go Dunning-Kruger on us and talk down to people that don't understand frequency in the atmosphere.
there's frequency in the atmosphere, you need to study Tesla.
He did not study Tesla.
There is frequency in the atmosphere. There is a chance. I'm not saying that this is. I'm just saying that there is a possibility that that frequency in the air is charging those lead balls just a tiny bit.
He has no clue how any of this works. It's amazingly stupid, that guy. Frequency in the air, charging up the balls. I tell you what, that guy, I'll give you a little hint. If frequency in the air charged the lead balls and charged the other lead balls, it would cause them to... What would Coulomb's law do, that guy? It would cause them to repel each other. But no, he doesn't understand that. Not even that.
With static. Just enough to make the Cavendish experiment work. If it were mass attracting mass, you could use any two objects. Granite, like one giant rock, and then a smaller rock. You know, anything other than lead. Lead and lead. If that's the only experiment they did, was lead attracting lead, that wasn't science.
I don't know how that would be dismissal of science. It would not. That is incredibly stupid. But clearly he did not do a survey of the annals of science to find out if any other mechanisms had been tested. For example, the BIPM measurement of the Newtonian constant of gravitation, G, from 2014. They do this every year, every 10 years. This one, again, on my website at mc2.net/G, this one used test masses that were copper. And the other was, I think it was stainless steel. But they were different materials. They used copper intentionally because it was they could mill it and it would be strong enough. Like lead is somewhat malleable. Copper is not as malleable. So they were able to mill it to get it to be very precisely the same mass, both of them, because there's two of them. And it also had the magnetic permittivity and susceptibility they wanted. So they degaussed them so that there's no hysteresis left on it. So it doesn't have any strong magnetic field on it. They sit them there's a lot of talk. Oh yeah, here we go. It's all in the same electrically grounded circuit. Basically, they're all at the same electrical potential. So there's no electromagnetism. There's no static charges. There's no electrostatic charges. None of these things that they just like, oh, well, you didn't do this. You didn't read that guy. You didn't look to see if they had done it before. So here I believe that these large cylinders are stainless steel, and then the masses that were on the bar were copper. So let's see. Facty says How would you figure the curve of the Earth on a lake with higher elevation? Say, Lake Titicaca. Oh. So anyway, this one again, he did not pay any attention to it. So okay, there it is. Here's the better one. A is the 4 source masses used in the Mk1, except the height had been reduced by 3 millimeters. B, one of the test masses, newly manufactured but similar in size to the Mk1 test masses. The gimbal from which is suspended the torsion strip, and the autocollimator, a different model from the Mk1. So, and this one was then, I think, placed into a vacuum chamber. It's an extremely well done. There's pages and pages on how they dealt with errors and dealing with margin of errors and reducing errors. So there you go. There's the torsion, the stainless steel balls there, aluminum cylinders, test masses. So read about this one. This is just search for BIPM on this page here, the gravity measurements. You'll see it does talk about the copper that they used and how they demagnetized, degaussed it. So, all right, we're getting to the good stuff.
You didn't change your independent variable.
You did by introducing the mass.
Now, if they use lead and then showed the same reaction between granite and another stone, or maybe even like a very dense wood, just bigger, same mass, you know what I mean? That lead ball had a certain amount of mass. Just get a bigger piece of granite with the same mass, same density and volume, or mass, you know, total weight and total size and density equal to the mass.
Total weight, size, and density. Wood, the total weight, size, and density, the same total weight, size, and density as lead. How does that happen? Blurf magic.
Of the lead ball. It should work the same. But they don't do that because they know damn well mass doesn't attract mass.
But they did that, and mass attracted mass.
Cavendish is not science.
I just find it funny. He installs tile. Right? That's what he does. He's not a scientist. These things that I've shown, they've been reviewed by other scientists. They're written by scientists, they're reviewed by scientists, and any other scientists or anybody, any of you, any flat earther, there's an open invitation for you to go and disprove it. Find out what's wrong. Repeat the experiment and show that it's crap. They don't. But that guy boldly claims that these things are not science based on what? Him being the expert on what is and is not science? You are not the expert, that guy. It's called Ipsy Dixit to declare yourself as the expert. It is the way I say it is because I say so. That's what you're doing, that guy. You don't have the foundation to do that. It's an appeal to authority with yourself as the authority. So
now that we understand Cavendish isn't science, and hopefully nobody will comment, Cavendish, it's not science. They use lead, and only lead and lead.
Wrong.
It's not science. Anyways, moving on. Density and volume is all you need to have weight.
Density and volume is all you need to have weight. Just a second here. Density and volume. Hold on. I gotta get out a piece of paper here and write this down. It's gonna be good. Density and volume is all you need to have weight. Now, weight is a force, F. So we know, well, let's start with that. F equals ma. Right? Now he says density and what did he say? Mass?
And lead, and only lead and lead. It's not science. Anyways, moving on. Density and volume is all you need to have weight.
Density and volume is all you need to have weight. Let's do it. Now, I always liked doing dimensional analysis because you don't have to do any math. Now, if you don't know what dimensional analysis is, that's where you take an equation and you just put the units in. Just the units. And it's super easy because you wind up just canceling the units. So density. What's density? That is mass over volume, right? So that's mass would be in kilograms, and volume is meters squared or meters cubed. Right there. Kilograms over meters cubed. And volume, well, that's just meters cubed. Right? Now, that's all you need for gravity, for weight.
Density and volume is all you need to have weight.
To have weight. Now, weight is a force. And a force is, let's see, kilogram meters per second squared. So how using, starting with kilograms, meters cubed, and meters cubed, which would cancel giving you just kilograms, get you kilogram meters per second squared. There's no time metric, no time unit in density or volume there, that guy. You're not going to get it. String News 1, volume is in decimal. Darryl Frost, weight is not a force. Can you convert pounds to newtons? Darryl Frost? Because pounds is weight, and newtons is the SI unit for force. Is there a one-to-one conversion? Yes, there is a one-to-one conversion. So I don't know why you're going with that, Darryl Frost. Darryl Frost is not a flat earther. And he doesn't like my gravity challenge. I don't know. Have you read it yet? So anyway, it doesn't work there, that guy. Try some dimensional analysis next time.
Let's talk about reality here. Let's talk about what is science first. Science is the study of the natural world to answer observed natural phenomenon here in the natural world. Space is not science.
Space actually is just everything above 62 miles high. So if it's possible to get more than 62 miles high, then there is space. So even by flat earthers that say there's a firmament dome, generally they don't say that it's as low as 62 miles. So technically, even in that model, space exists.
Space is not science. Space is an assumption. Space cannot be validated by anyone.
Well, all you just got to do is go there.
Can't be repeated or can't be verified. Can't be repeated, can't be observed. It's not science. So let's talk about the natural world and natural phenomenon. Actual science.
This idiot's going to try to lecture us on what real science is.
Density and volume equals weight.
Density and volume. Hold on a second. How do you multiply or do you add when he says and? Help me out, chat. Do you multiply or is it Boolean? Is it density and volume equals weight? All right. Density and volume equals weight. I'm gonna back that up. I gotta hear it again.
Science. Density and volume equals weight here in reality.
Here in reality. So I don't know. Is it a dot product? Is it multiply? Is it add? Help me out, people. And means add, says Steve 6464. Blade of Zorro says volume needs to be turned up to 11 to make it work. Okay. Tau software. Oh, I need to have 2 ampersands, so it's a Boolean test. I guess like this, it'd be a bitwise test. But how do you bitwise and kilogram meters per meters cubed and meters cubed? I don't know how you do a bitwise and of that. Just smush them together. What the heck are you talking about? Oh, and he wants to lecture us on real science.
I'll explain.
Oh, thank you.
This would be these 3 squares. Sorry about the glare, but these 3 squares are the same size. Same volume. Volume is just the space that the object takes up. And that means they exist. If you have volume, you exist. You're tangible. You exist. You're made up of molecules that you can grab and touch. You have volume. Therefore, you exist.
Bad touch.
So all you need is to exist and to have a certain density. And then you'll have weight. Weight is a product of existing. Depending on your density, that will determine your weight. It's very, very easy.
Oh, yes.
There's no need to invoke acceleration,
no,
gravity,
there's no
gravitational constant. None of it is necessary. We're here to explain science, the study of the natural world, not fake space. That's not the natural world. I know every globetard really, really believes it is. I know that you guys really believe it is, but it's not. So here in the real world, where everything exists, here in our atmosphere, in reality, you just need density and volume. If this was a gold bar, it would weigh 10 pounds. These are all just random values here. We could say gold is heavier than titanium. We know that.
It's not much.
A titanium bar that is the same size as a gold bar will have different weights. We'll call this 10 pounds of gold, and that would be like 5 pounds of titanium. We know titanium is lighter than gold. That's the point. We don't need to get super accurate with our numbers.
Okay.
I don't need to do the fucking calculations of the density between the two and use real math, do I?
I mean, you could have. It's not that hard.
We can use our brains. We can use our cognitive abilities to understand this concept, right? Gold, the point is, gold is heavier than titanium.
Yeah, he could have looked it up in the amount of time that it took him to wave away that he was getting it, making up stuff.
And titanium would be heavier than like balsa wood or a very light wood, okay? That's the point.
I mean, he is just using made up stuff. I get that. But he's so far off in the relationships, in the ratios
of this demonstration / explanation. All have the same volume. They all take up the same amount of space. This one's heavier because it's more dense. Titanium is less dense, it's lighter, and then wood is the least dense and would be the lightest. All perfectly explained without gravity. You have density and you have volume. You exist.
But he talked about pounds, which is the result of accelerating a mass. How did that happen?
And you have a certain amount of density. You might be saying, that guy, why would they even invent gravity then? Why?
They didn't invent it. It is used to explain things. It's just I mean, is everything of our understanding invented at some point? You could say it that way, but we've discovered how the universe works. So you don't say that we invented gravity. It is part of how the universe works.
Why is there mass? What is this shit about mass? Here it is. Gravity is an imaginary attractive force due to mass. Mass is weight. Mass is identical to weight, but this weight is space weight. It only deals with outer space. You do not need mass in reality to explain any phenomenon that we observe here in reality. Mass is density and volume. Mass is weight. The only difference between mass and regular weight is that on the moon, an object, this gold bar here on Earth in reality, weighs 10 pounds. It has a certain density and a certain volume.
Yes.
Here on Earth, it weighs 10 pounds. It has 10 pounds of mass.
No, it doesn't have 10 pounds of mass. It has 10 pounds of weight. Weight is not mass. It's a different unit.
On 1/6 gravity of the moon, it would weigh like 1.66 pounds. It should have the same weight, but in space, it wouldn't. In fake space, it wouldn't have the same weight.
What?
It would have the same mass. Here in reality, though, they're identical. They're the same effing thing.
No, they're not.
This gold bar will weigh exactly the same, no matter where you are on Earth.
No, and that's not even true. It won't weigh the same because the downward acceleration is different all over the Earth. It will weigh a bit different on the equator at sea level than it will on the equator on a mountain, or on the equator at sea level versus at 60 degrees north latitude at sea level. They will weigh different amounts, but the mass will be the same. He doesn't even understand that.
Minus barometric pressure. That tiny little bit.
Oh my gosh. Dale Frost, you did not know that mass is not weight? No wonder you don't like my gravity challenge.
Of 1,000th of a gram difference when you go to altitude, that's just barometric pressure.
Oh, but what if it's done in a, an evacuated chamber where it's the same pressure at both places? Then what? Then what?
The density of the air. Down here at sea level, in the tropics, let's say, I live in Florida. It's warm here. If I weigh a 10-pound gold bar, it was 10.0.
That's a good question from Justin Vernell. So what happens if I compress enough titanium to have the same weight and density as gold, as well as taking up the same volume? So you packed it down, so it's the same amount of mass in the same volume. Well, solids do not like being compressed. So what would happen if you took something that was titanium? Let's do what he could not do. Let's look up the mass of titanium and the mass of lead. So here is a periodic table. And we've got lead, PB, right there, 207.2. That is its molecular mass. And titanium, which is just T. Where is it? What number is it, people? Help me out. Mute Donkey, wouldn't that be a fusion reaction? Yes, you probably would have a fusion reaction. Oh, Did somebody tell me the number? I forgot. I'm looking at it. It's a little small on my screen here. So that's what's taken me so long. 22. All right, thank you very much. There it is. 47 point. We're gonna go 3 digits here. I'm gonna go 4 digits because that's what I did with lead. 47.87. There we go. And it's not just T, it's TI. Okay. So here it is. Put it up. We've got 207.2 for lead and 47.87. That's a pretty big difference. It's about a factor of 4. So you're going to take something that is 4 liters in volume and is titanium, a solid, a metal, and you're going to compress it to 1/4 of its original volume. I can't imagine the quantity of pressure you're going to have to exert on it. That's going to be a lot. But yes, I think if you were able to do that, you might have a good chance of fusion. That would be craziness. So let's see. Small Time Art says, how big does your dense wood need to be to float on Lake Titicaca? How big does your dense wood need to be? I think if the dense wood is less dense than the water, it will always float. And if it's more dense than water, it will always sink unless you form it into a vessel of some sort. That's pretty good. And Stellarium Celestia says, boop that like button. Thank you, Stellarium. Got a little Mallory channeling going there. So, okay. Do we want more of him? I mean, he doesn't, I think in this video, he doesn't get into much more. So, let's see. It is 9:20. Nothing from Alex Morales. So Alexander Morales, who was it's having trouble updating. A little weird. Alexander Morales, who was on last week. If you were on last week, you would know the delightful young chap who had lots of kind and thoughtful words to say. He demanded that we have a one-on-one. I'm like, okay, fine. So I did a video thumbnail. I did what I normally do, and I've done over 200 times. I made a thumbnail. I got the guy's picture from Facebook. Now, I sometimes ask them for an avatar. Sometimes they say, I don't care. Sometimes they send an avatar. Sometimes they send a picture. Sometimes they say, do whatever you want. And sometimes I just grab a picture. And I don't know what percentage of the time I do any one of them, but I just grabbed a picture off of his Facebook. I tried to grab one that was somewhat complimentary, and I made the thumbnail for the video that's coming up in about 35 minutes. And I posted the link to it in Discord in the room that he was talking in, and he threw an absolute fit and started swearing at me and making all sorts of accusations about my my sexual preferences. He's like, change it right now. Lots of swearing. I'm like, that's not really, if you just said, hey, use this one instead. No. I'm like, anyway, I did change it. I put a bag over his face. So you can't see anything except his eyes. For some reason, he didn't like that either. So I think that he's going to use that as a cop-out to not show. Because I sent him a message earlier today, and he did I on Facebook, and he likes to send tons and tons of messages on DM. And I do not like that, because he just wants to debate in there. So I'm like, so I sent him a message and I said, if you want to talk about it on Discord. And then I blocked him. He's the only person I've blocked other than like bots, spam bots and stuff. So and I posted the screenshot on Discord. It's right there. You can look at it right there. So in the Alex's Cry Room channel. So I don't know if he's going to show up. So I will have, if he doesn't, I'll have an open panel like I did last week, but I won't let Alex in. He either comes in, I'll give him 5-10 minutes. He either comes in and has a civil discussion, or we'll do a panel. And what I will do with the panels, I'm just going to do it on Zoom. I'm going to put the Zoom link into the general chat where Alex can't see it. But it doesn't matter. I'll kick him if he comes in anyway. So let's see. Oh, yes. Justin Vernal says, I found a place that might make you giggle a little more than Lake Titicaca. It's called Wakapapa, Skiffield. And the TH and the WH is pronounced as an F. Yep. I think I like Lake Titicaca better. So, all right. You hear me, I get, like, if it's there, I start twisting it. So, now, Gary Wybenga. Gary, I see, is in the chat. I posted that video about Tony Nayum yesterday in on Facebook, and Gary commented on it. I think on Facebook and on YouTube as well, but yes, he did it both. And so Gary said that Tony did not claim that the sun would rise in any particular direction. So I sent Gary a link to the video, starting at the actual position where Tony Nayum talked about the angle of the sunrise and the sunset. Now, Gary went silent after that, and I see he's in the chat right now. So, Gary, would you like to maybe back up or explain or retract your claim that Tony Nayum did not say that the sun would rise south of due east? Anything on that, Gary? Because typical Gary, he'll make a wild claim, get shown to be completely wrong, and then never returns to it. Why is that, Gary? Why is that? Anyway. Oh, there it is. So, anything, Gary? I don't see anything, Gary. Nothing in the, you didn't type anything, Gary, in the chat yet. And let me see. Did that James did not send me an email wanting to get on, so he chose to shut up. Exactly. Put up or shut up. And he chose to shut up. Hey, at least you chose that. That's the right one. You don't need to ever come back again. Climb back into your spider hole, James Horton, and never get on the internet again if you're going to act like that. Right? Daryl Jackson for $10 says, one question that I have gotten a legit answer from, I've not got a legit answer from a Flurf yet, is if you believe in a dome and space is fake, then where do asteroids and comets come from that very clearly crash into Earth? They give a few answers for that. They do. The most dishonest and lie-imbued one is that it doesn't happen, they say. They will then make claims that it's some sort of a psyop. It's something in the sky. They do things in the sky to make you think they do things in the sky to make you think that it's happening. Nobody ever actually finds anything. The authorities are the ones that find it. So that's the lie-imbued answer. The delusion-imbued answer is that it's chips of the dome actually falling off. Joey Rocha from Hawaii claims this. He says it's blue sapphire, and it's falling somehow. Now, how does none of this make sense? If it's from the dome, why would it be coming horizontally? Because you often see them going horizontally. That doesn't make sense. And when they do find them, they're not blue sapphire. So I don't know. So those are the two things that I've seen for answers. But yeah, there's a lot of things that the Flurfs never give you an answer for. You ask them for a working map, they either give you nothing or they give you the AE map. And then the next question is, how the flight between Santiago and Sydney, Australia, which absolutely exists, QF27. Show me where that flies on a flat Earth map, and they can't. The same thing happens when they say there are flat Earth pilots. I say, oh, well, then have that flat Earth pilot chart the route of QF27 on flat Earth charts. They can't do that. Let's see, what else? What causes the magnitude of the downward acceleration? It is 9.81 meters per second squared, approximately. It varies all over the Earth. What is the cause of the magnitude? They come up with a bunch of things like density and buoyancy, which doesn't work, doesn't give you a direction, doesn't give you a magnitude. Weird. Ironically, the one that all the flat earthers don't like, the Religiflurfs, they don't like the one that's commonly attributed to the Flat Earth Society, though it's not universally accepted on that group, and it's not limited to just that group, is the upward acceleration of 9.81 meters per second squared, which doesn't work because you need to explain how that comes about. But even without that, it doesn't work because there is a variation in the magnitude of that acceleration. People often try to say that, well, after a year, you'd be traveling faster than the speed of light, which is correct until you add in relativity, because from the external reference frame, as you approach the speed of light, your mass to the external reference frame will increase. When you continue to put the same force on it, the change in velocity is less and less and less. So you never get to the speed of light. But inside that reference frame, it's still 9.8 meters per second squared. So it actually works with relativity. It's crazy that it actually does work a little bit. But they don't have an explanation for the variation. So, David Brock has some article. I'll have a look at that quick and see if we should pull it up. So, anyway, there's more to gravity, but I won't get into it right at the moment. I have been emailing with a flat earther about gravity that has a proposed explanation for it, which is not one of my 4 that I've seen. I just explained 2 of them. It's kind of in the middle there, and I'm like, hey, I like it. I think it's pretty cool. Let's hear about it. So, Teamster for Life for $5 says, one thing I've asked before is a clear explanation for how seasons work on their model. They say, and this is like kindergarten understanding. That's how basic it is, how simple they are. They say that the sun moves in and out in concentric circles around, right? So, right, they this is all that they care to hear. This is the depth of their understanding. They're like, well, the sun does small circles, and then later in December it's doing big circles. That's it. That's all they have. It doesn't explain how the sun could set. The sun could never set. Um, and it doesn't explain actually the amount of heat that you'd get, because when it's doing the Tropic of Capricorn thing, you would actually get less heat in the southern hemisphere than in the northern hemisphere, because of the amount of area that the same sized sun distributes its same quantity of energy over, right? There's more area in the outer part than in the inner part. You can't get around that. And then, so unless the sun somehow also increases its output, not just increases the radius of its path, it would be much colder. And the North Pole would never get cold. It would, because it's always in the middle. It'd be colder in December, but not that cold. I forgot the magic part. Yeah, there's the magic. So, but that ad hoc explanation introduces more unanswered questions, like what causes the sun's radius to increase and decrease? There must be a force there. What causes the sun's velocity to change? Because to take 24 hours to go around a larger diameter, larger circumference, requires an acceleration. You have mass, you have to accelerate it. You need a force. What's that? Don't know. What keeps the sun and moon from falling down? Don't know. What makes it set? Perspective doesn't answer it. So none of those things actually get answered. They just have this one little hand wavy thing that the dumb people accept. That's it. So, all right. It's heavenly energies, of course. So here's what I'm going to do. I am going to who even believes that emblem of vigilance? Flat earthers do. Yes. Flat earthers believe that. It's a religion. Absolutely a religion. And Flat Earther effed up world in the chat here, he basically admits it's a religion. At least be honest about it, that it's a religion. So, and Mallory, she's just a goofball. So, all right, I'm gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna set up for the live the panel here coming up, or Alex if he shows up. Small chance of that. So, couple things to remind you before I go. A week from today, Mallory is debating, using that word lightly, Professor Phil Bell, and Aromatics is making a wonderful thumbnail. He has done over and above amount of work for Mallory, for her avatar. Amazing work. I love it. Later that day, I'm trying to get somebody to debate me to have a little more flat earther debate. Then on the 1st, January 1st, hosting a debate on whether or not you should tell kids about Santa. That's between Steaming Cup of Reason says yes, and hey, should I say? Well, if I should say, you know who you are. Put in the comments. He's not in the chat right now. And then 2 weeks from tonight, get ready. It's 33UC, the return of 33UC. Somewhere there, I'm going to try to get Flat Out Hero. We'll see. I got Hillside who wants to debate me. Going to have to be after that. So, and he says the 8th. No, I said no, not on the 8th. They cannot figure things out. So anyway, enjoy. This is the outro for Christmas song outro. It is my favorite Christmas song. I hope you enjoy it. What do you mean, what about Santa? Should parents tell their kids about Santa? That's the question. That's the debate on the SC Toon Show. Yes. We'll see you in a little bit.